I welcome you all. This pandemic of COVID 19 seems endless. The first wave was followed by devastating second wave. Now the fear looms large. Will there be a third wave? When will it come? Can it be avoided? Will it be more dangerous? What shall we do? Virus is still there and it is mutating continuously, and that is the cause of the concern. Recent genomic studies of recent isolates of COVID 19 has demonstrated the predominance of Delta variant, which was supposed to be more virulent, more resistant to antibody treatment, and more transmissible. Now, the ICMR has come up with three-pronged strategies to reduce the impact of the impending third wave. The first is COVID appropriate behavior, second is surveillance, and third is vaccination drive. In COVID appropriate behavior, I still say that mask is very important. Whether mask is supposed to be a social vaccine, मैं जो है मास्क को एक सोशल वैक्सीन की तरह ट्रीट करता हूँ. कोई भी वेरिएंट हो, वेरिएंट पहले से ट्रांसमिसिबल हो सकता है, लेकिन वेरिएंट का साइज कभी चेंज नहीं होता. तो इसीलिए जो है मास्क एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है which can be used as a social vaccine along with the real vaccine, which can reduce the severity of the disease if at all there is a transmission. As far as surveillance is considered, the ICMR has come up with the strategy of track, tracing, and testing. And in this strategy, they have increased the testing capacity up to 40 to 50 lakhs per day. Right now, things are becoming better day by day, but there are enough reasons to feel confident. Therefore, this is the high time to remind everyone to practice precaution. Stay on your guard. Do not compromise on COVID appropriate behavior. Pandemic or no pandemic, personal and environmental hygiene is very important. New infection control challenges are waiting for clinical microbiologists. But what surprises me is the dedication and enthusiasm of our team, which delivered best during the difficult time. It seems that adversity has brought the best of everyone. The Department of Microbiology has prepared a module which uh, which consists of three sessions. The first sessions will be on basics of COVID-19. That will be taken by Dr. Nisha. The second session will be on sample collection and testing. That will be taken by Dr. Nadeem. And the third important section on biomedical waste management and infection prevention control and prevention of general aspects of COVID related mucormycosis. And this session will be taken by Dr. Kirti. Now I invite Dr. Nisha for her important session.
A very warm welcome to all of you. Myself, Dr. Nisha Goyal, Assistant Professor in the Department of Microbiology, will be taking this module on basics of COVID-19. This module includes basics of SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19 appropriate behavior, and use of personal protective equipment. SARS-CoV-2 is an enveloped RNA virus belonging to genus Beta coronavirus. It is closely related to severe acute respiratory syndrome virus. That's why it is named as severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. We need to know the terms variants of concern and variants of interest. Variants of concern are associated with one or more of the following changes at a degree of global public health significance, like enhanced transmissibility, or increase in virulence, or decrease in effectiveness of public health and social measures, or available diagnostics, vaccines, or therapeutics. In this category, we have four variants. Initially, these were named or called by the name of the country from where the initial cases were reported, like UK variant, South African variant, Brazilian variant, or Indian variant. but now we use the labels given to them by WHO, alpha, beta, gamma, and delta, and this delta variant is the one for which the earliest cases were reported from India. Coming to variants of interest, these are the ones which are identified to cause community transmission, and they are linked with multiple COVID-19 cases or clusters, and their cases have been detected in multiple countries. Or otherwise, these have been assessed to be a variant of interest by WHO working group. In this category, we have 7 variants, in which Kappa variant is the one for which the earliest cases were reported from India. Delta plus variant is again a variant of concern. It signifies the Delta variant with an additional mutation which we denote as 0.1. It specifically refers to the acquisition of K417N genetic variant in the background of Delta variant. And this mutation is also present in another variant of concern, that is beta variant. Delta plus variant has the following characteristic. It has been shown to have enhanced transmissibility, stronger binding to receptors of lung cell, and it also has the potential to reduce the monoclonal antibody response. Persons infected by SARS-CoV-2 are the main source of infection. Direct person-to-person transmission occurs through close contact, mainly through respiratory droplets that are released when the infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks. These droplets may land on the surfaces where virus remain viable for a variable period of time depending on the surface on which they have landed. When the hands touch such surfaces, these can be easily picked up by the hands, and once contaminated hands touch the eyes, nose or mouth, it gets transferred to the body, and from here it can enter the body and can make us very sick. So our safety is in our own hands, quite literally. Incubation period of COVID-19 ranges from 1 to 14 days with an average of 5 days. As per current evidence, period of infectivity, that is the capacity of a person to infect others. It starts 2 to 3 days prior to the onset of symptoms, and adults with mild to moderate COVID-19, they may remain infectious up to 10 days after symptoms onset, and most the persons with more severe to critical illness or severe immunocompromise, they may remain infectious up to 20 days after symptom onset. Now coming to case definitions. A suspected case is a person who meets the clinical and epidemiological criteria, or a patient with severe acute respiratory illness. Clinical criteria includes acute onset of fever and cough, or any 3 or more of the following, like fever, cough, generalized weakness, fatigue, headache, myalgia, or other influenza-like illness symptoms, or the symptoms of diarrhea, anorexia, nausea, vomiting. In the epidemiological criteria, person residing or working in an area with high transmission of virus, or residing or travel to an area with community transmission, or working in any healthcare setting any time within 14 days prior to symptom onset. Severe acute respiratory illness can be defined as acute respiratory infection with history of fever or measured fever of more than equal to 38 degrees Celsius and cough with onset within the last 10 days and which required hospitalization. Now coming to probable case. A patient who meets clinical criteria and is a contact of a probable or confirmed case, or is linked to a COVID-19 cluster, or in whom the chest imaging shows findings suggestive of COVID-19 disease, or a person with recent loss of smell or loss of taste in the absence of any other identified cause, or otherwise an unexplained death in an adult with respiratory distress preceding death and was a contact of a probable or confirmed case. Confirmed case is a person with positive nucleic acid amplification test, including RT-PCR or any other similar test approved by ICMR, or a person with positive rapid antigen test and meeting either the probable case definition or suspect criteria, or an asymptomatic person with a positive rapid antigen test who is contact of a probable or confirmed case. Now, what is COVID-19 appropriate behavior? It includes a set of 15 promises that we need to follow. First, we have to greet each other from a distance. We should avoid shaking hands. We have to say hello from a distance. We have to maintain a physical distance of at least 6 feet, or as we say, 2 गज की दूरी है जरूरी. We have to use the appropriate mask depending on the risk of exposure. If being the healthcare professionals, we are performing the aerosol generating procedures, we have to use the N95 mask. In the other hospital settings, we can use the surgical mask. We have to avoid touching eyes, nose, or mouth. We have to maintain the respiratory hygiene. We have to wash our hands frequently and thoroughly. I'll be showing you a video for the proper steps for hand washing. Then we have to regularly clean and disinfect the frequently touched surfaces. One should not spit in the open. And in these times, we have to avoid the unnecessary travel of any kind. We have to be the strength of one another and should not discriminate against anyone. We have to discourage crowds or the gatherings. We have to avoid getting together for the teas or the lunch. We have to encourage safety. Being the healthcare professionals, general public look up to us for the credibility or the rightfulness of information. So do not circulate social media posts which carry unverified or negative information. We have to be dependent on the credible sources for COVID-19 information. One can call national or the state helpline numbers if any query is there related to COVID-19. And again, being the healthcare professional, it is very, very important to seek psychosocial support for any kind of stress or anxiety at earliest. Now coming to hand hygiene, let us see this video. Hand washing should take about 40 to 60 seconds. All jewelry should be removed, including watch, before performing hand hygiene. Wet hands with water. Apply enough soap to cover all the hand surfaces. Let water running to avoid touching the tap. Rub hands palm to palm to obtain adequate amount of foam. One should count 1 to 5 while performing each step. Right palm over left dorsum with interlaced fingers. Repeat this action for other hand. Now palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Back of fingers to opposite palms with fingers interlocked. To clean thumb, perform rotational rubbing of left thumb clasped in right palm and vice versa. To clean fingers, rotational rubbing backwards and forwards with clasped fingers of right hand in left palm and vice versa. Wrist, Rinse hands thoroughly with running water. Dry hands thoroughly with a single-use towel. If tap is not elbow operated, use towel to close the tap. Your hands are safe now. Whenever we are using hand wash or soap and water, the duration of entire process should be 40 to 60 seconds. And when we are using hand rub or the sanitizer, this procedure should take 20 to 30 seconds. When our hands are visibly soiled or when we had exposure with body fluids, in that condition we have to always use the soap and water. We should not use hand rub in these conditions. Now coming to the proper use of personal protective equipment, we know that the personal protective equipment includes coveralls or the gowns. They can be made up of fibers of plastic, mask, goggles and face shields, gloves, shoe covers, head covers. This is the donning procedure in the form of a flow chart. I'll be showing you the video. How to properly wear a N95 we have included in this video. Let us see this video.
Remove all the ornaments, accessories before donning and change to OT scrub. Perform thorough hand hygiene. Wear first pair of gloves. Again perform hand hygiene. Sit comfortably on a clean chair. Wear shoe cover and pull them up to the full length. Perform thorough hand hygiene. Selected PP should be of right size. Thoroughly examine the coverall suit for any damage. Start by wearing the leg sleeves. Then wear the arm sleeves. And zip up to the full. Cover the zip with the flap attached. Hold N95 mask like a cup in your hand with both the straps hanging out in the front. Bend a little forward. Place the mask on your face. First pull the lower strap and place it below your ears. Now pull the upper strap and place it above your ears. Now it is very crucial to check for the air leakage. Perform a fit check by breathing in and out. Check for the air leakage while forcibly exhaling. Perform hand hygiene again. Now wear hood, cover the forehead and cheeks. Now wear the face shield over the hood. And check for proper fitting. Perform hand hygiene. Wear second pair of gloves. Pull them to cover the sleeve up and forearm. You are now ready to enter the COVID area.
Now coming to the doping part, whenever we are removing the PPE, we have to be very cautious that we should not end up self-contaminating. So it is very important to remove the PPE in a certain sequential manner, and we have to always touch the cleaner part of the personal protective equipment instead of touching the exposed part. Now let us see the video for this.
Remove the outer gloves and dispose it in the red bag. Grasp the outside of one glove at the wrist. Peel the glove away from your body, pulling it inside out. Hold the glove you just removed in your gloved hand. Peel off the second glove by putting your fingers inside the glove at the top of your wrist. Dispose of the gloves safely in the red bag. Perform hand hygiene. Remove face shield by pulling the back strap. Do not touch the outer surface. Dispose it in the red bag. Perform hand hygiene. Remove the hood and the gown by rolling it inside out and dispose of safely in the red bag. Dispose in the red bag. Perform hand hygiene. Now sit on a clean chair. Remove shoe cover without touching the contaminated surface. And dispose it in the red bag. Perform hand hygiene. Now remove N95 mask by pulling the bottom strap over the back of the head, followed by the top strap without touching the outer surface of the mask, and discard in the yellow bag. Perform hand hygiene properly. Finally, remove the inner gloves and dispose it in the red bag, followed by hand washing with soap and water.
Let us see in this flow chart. As we can see here, we know that the gloves we always discard in the red bag, and the things which are made up of plastic like eye goggles, face shields, and if our coverall suits they are made up of plastic, then we will dispose them off in the red bag. The mask will go in the yellow bag. So it is very important to know the sequence. We have to remove in this particular sequential manner. Now it is very important to know that PPE, it should not be adjusted or touched during patient care or in the COVID area. Never touch your face while wearing PPE. If there is any concern or you think that there is any breach of PPE, there is any kind of tear there, then leave the patient care area when it is safe to do so, and then remove and change the PPE. And it is very important to remove it very properly in order to avoid the self-contamination. We healthcare workers, we wear our PPEs as we wear the armor. So we always have to follow the rules. We always have to follow the steps. And we again, I would emphasize that we have to avoid the self-contamination. As you might have seen in the video, that we have to remove it by the rolling technique. We have to always touch from inside, not from the side where it is exposed. So how India can delay or stop the third wave? By following the COVID appropriate behavior, by sensitizing everyone around us to take the vaccine, and then to perform the sustained surveillance, that is to look out for the emerging variants. Now I would like to invite Dr. Nadeem Ahmed for to continue his session. Thank you.